Hi, boys and girls. So this week we're going to go ahead and take our research and we are going to start writing all of our research into a final piece of paper for third grade. Today's lesson is really going to focus on deciding, do you agree or disagree? Are zoos harmful or are they helpful? So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take our notes. We're going to look through all of our notes. We're going to make our decision, and I want you to write that on a piece of paper at the top. I want you to write, are zoos harmful or helpful? And then I want you to write, I think zoos are, and then you say what you think about the zoos. And then the next thing I want you to do is go through those notes. So if I said that I think that zoos are harmful, like the negative notes, I'm going to go through and I'm just going to circle or highlight those facts that we found from our research that I would really like to talk about in my paper. So we're going to do that together. So here I have my notes for negatives of zoos and I have positives of zoos. I'm going to go ahead and grab a highlighter. And if you don't have a highlighter, that is okay. I want to take a really quick look at what I've written down. And I'm just going to highlight some things that I think I want to talk about in my paper. Now, I'm going to do this for both negatives and positives, but you only need to do this for one. So starting with the negatives, it says cages are not made nicely for animals, malfunction of the habitats, light and sound are an issue, changes eating habits, causes stress. I'm going to look through all this, and one thing I really want to focus on talking about is zoochosis. So that's going to be something that I really focus on when I write my paper, telling you if it's harmful or if it is helpful. Another thing that I notice is that I talk a lot about the animals and how they're separated from their families, how they can become aggressive, it changes their eating habits, and all of those I feel like go with the idea that zoos are dangerous for animals. Now I don't have it written down here, but I'm going to definitely make that a note as one of my topics I'm going to talk about. So I'm just going to write here, zoos are dangerous. Okay. And then the last thing that I noticed that we talked a lot about is that the animals don't live as long as zoos. Animals don't live as long in zoos as they do in the wild. And that's down here. And I can go into a lot more detail about that because we did research a bit more about that idea. Now looking at positives of zoos, we don't have as many notes, but we really have some good ideas that we can talk about. For example, in bold, I wrote education. That could be one thing I really focus on, that zoos help educate people on animals. Another thing is the number of animals increase, and I see the word safe constantly. So these all make me think that zoos can help save endangered species. They can help save those animals that are dying out. So I'm just going to put a combined in save animals. And not only do they save the animals, I see that they get food, they get health care, they have enriched environments, they're safe from all these hunters and predators. So another idea from all of it is I'm going to say that zoos help animals. So those are just some key ideas that I want to talk about in my paper. Now tomorrow we're going to take these ideas and we're going to write them down on our graphic organizer. And I'm going to pull up what that graphic organizer is going to look like. It is going to look like this on my computer. Here we go. So we have our main ideas. We have 3 main ideas. And for the negatives, I would say my first main idea would be zoochosis is what I want to talk about. Zoochosis. I also want to talk about how zoos can be dangerous. So that's my first main idea. Second main idea, third main idea that I want to focus on is that animals don't live as long in captivity. Okay? So you have animals don't live as long in captivity. All right, so those are for my negatives. I'm gonna do this symbol so we know that those are negatives. Now looking at my positives, my main ideas are going to be one, zoos help animals. Number two, they educate people about those animals. And then remember, we highlighted safe and that the number of animals increase. So it helps endanger animals. And that's for the positives of zoos. So those are the three things that I'm going to go into detail about. And that's what I want you to do on your paper today. I want you to go through your notes and I want you to come up with your ideas. If you said that zoos are harmful, look through those notes. Why do you think that? Because of zoochosis, they're dangerous, and animals don't live as long in captivity. Then over here, if you're talking about things that are positive, what are the three major things that you can pull from your notes? And I want you to write them on a piece of paper, and we're going to use our notes the next day to start actually writing those details that support them.